Hey, how's it going everybody? Tim here, the Frugal Travel Guru, back with another video. And in today's video, I wanted to answer a question that I've gotten from several viewers. And that question is, are the Greyhound bus stations safe? And I think this is a great question because a lot of people are worried about their time on the actual bus. A lot of people are like, how safe is the Greyhound bus when I'm actually on the bus? But not as many people worry about the Greyhound bus stations. But chances are, if you are on a Greyhound bus trip of any length, you are going to spend some time at one or more stations. It could be your destination station while you're waiting on your ride. It could be at a station along the way when you have to get off the bus because the bus has to be serviced and maintained. Or you could have a transfer and you might have a 2-3 hour layover at a station. So it is very important to answer the question, how safe are the Greyhound bus stations? So first off, I want to say not all Greyhound bus stations are created equal when it comes to safety. There are a lot of little small, rinky-dink Greyhound stations in a lot of these small towns, small cities, and most of these stations are pretty fine. They're in decent parts of town. A lot of them are at truck stops or convenience stores, or just really small stations in not a bad area. A lot of these you're gonna have no problem. They're pretty safe. However, you will encounter on your trip, if you're on Greyhound, any length of time, you probably will encounter a station that is like exactly the opposite. It's probably going to be in a big city, in a bad part of town, and all around the station, you'll see as you're pulling into it, is going to be pretty sketch. The good news is that most of the Greyhound bus stations that are, known for the potential for bad things to happen have security. So there will be a security guard on hand who is there to basically call the police. But a lot of times people respect the fact that there's a security guard there and they're not going to do anything crazy if there's someone in the blue uniform standing there, even if it is a rent-a-cop, as people like to say. So most of the stations that are a problem, there's security on hand and they know the local police. The police usually show up pretty quickly. But even with that being said, if you stay inside the station, like even at the worst stations I've been to, and there are some stations that I just do not like going to, but sometimes you have to, if you stay inside, you're usually going to be pretty safe. For the one thing, there's security. Also, too, inside the station, there's going to be tons of other people there, especially if it's a really busy station. There's going to be 50 to 100, 150 other people in there. And they, even though a lot of times when there's somebody crazy or somebody acting up, a lot of people don't want to get involved. You'll see people walking away. But if someone gets like violent and they try to like assault someone, I've seen this happen, other people are going to jump in. They're going to call for security. They're going to say, hey, leave that person alone. And the more vulnerable the person is that the aggressor is coming at, the more likely people are to step in. So, maybe you're scared of traveling by yourself, you're young, maybe you're female traveling alone, you're a little nervous. Maybe you're just a really skinny guy like me traveling alone so you're nervous. The more of a threat this person who's bothering you poses to you, the more likely other people are going to be to jump in. So when you're in the station, even if it's a station that's known to be in a city or area that's pretty rough, you're probably not going to have any trouble if you stay inside the station. Now, if you walk outside the station, if you want to go out and smoke, or you want to go out and try to, see what you can score from the local dope man, or you want to go down the road and get something to eat, this is where people run into trouble. It's usually the people who aren't up to any good, who go outside the station for reasons that they don't need to, where things happen. Or it's like the naive people who are like, oh, there's a McDonald's 2 blocks away, I'm just gonna walk there. And it's like nighttime and you're like downtown Dallas or something. Like, this is where something bad will happen because you don't have that protective net. Security doesn't come outside. If they do, it's right outside the door because they're not trying to leave their safety bubble. There's no one with you when you walk down the street, when you walk outside. Maybe 1 or 2 people, but they're not going to be locals. And trust me, there's enough bad dudes outside to overpower them too. So it's when you leave the station that you typically run into problems. That's why my #1 safety tip, if you watched any of my other videos, is don't leave the station. stay inside the station. I know it sucks. I know the bathrooms aren't always the best. I know the food, if they have any, is overpriced and super greasy. I know there's smelly people in there. You kind of want to get away from them. I've been one of those smelly people after 3 days on the bus. I know just sitting in that station sucks, especially after you've been on the bus for a long amount of time, but it's safer that way. Now, if it's daytime, you look around, there's not a lot of people out there, it looks safe, okay. Or if you're at one of those stations that you can tell you're in a decent part of town, you don't think anything's gonna happen, okay, go outside, walk around. I've done it before. I've went down the road, got something to eat. You know, I've just walked around. One time I had a really long layover, I like took the bus. I took like the local bus around for a little bit and came back. Like, I've done it before, but you just have to gauge where you're at, and not naive gauging. Like me, I'll get on Google Maps and look around the surrounding area, because the block you're on might look cool, then you turn the corner and then it's a problem. So when I'm coming in on the bus, I'm looking around. Typically, if I know I'm gonna have a long layover at a station, before I even started the trip, I was on the internet, on Google Maps, Street View, looked all around the station, found some places that I located that I'm like, oh, I might wanna go there, and look to see what type of area it was. Do your research, be careful. But the whole bottom line kind of is, even the worst Greyhound bus stations, the chances of something bad happening to you are pretty slim if you just stay in the station, stay around other people, point out where security's at. Like I said, I've mentioned many times that I'm the dude, if it seems like something's about to go down, I'll go and stand by the security door. I'll go and stand by the security guard. I don't care. You can call me a wuss, whatever. I got to get home. I got to get where I'm going. I don't need no problems. And then to a lot of the worst Greyhound stations, the cops are in and out of there a lot too. Like, they know they're going to be called 2-3 times a night anyway, so they'll just be there. It'll just be on their beat, basically. They'll be in and out, you know. Any of the problem people, they're looking for them. And that's another thing too. If you see someone who you think is going to be a problem, they start acting crazy, really crazy. There's going to be a lot of people acting crazy. It's Greyhound, but like acting really crazy or threatening towards other people, just go up to security, tell on them. Yeah, it's snitching, but just go up to security. Hey, I think this dude is, if you see someone kind of looking too long at people or whatever, just tell security, hey man, I don't know about this dude. Check on him. I don't know about this lady. Check on her. And that can greatly diminish kind of the issues you have. Another thing, and this isn't really a big one, but even like going in the bathrooms at the Greyhound bus station, I sit and watch the bathroom for a while before I go in it. Pretty much anywhere else in the station, there's people watching. Some stations, the bathrooms are like around the corner, and you go in there and there's stalls way in the back. You don't know what's going on in there. You can get gotten in bathrooms and no one will ever know it. So just kind of gauge the activity going on in there. If you see a lot of weirdness, a lot of weird people going in the bathrooms, and stand a while. Maybe hold it until they leave. Maybe hold it until the next stop. But just always be careful. Just use common sense. Be aware of your surroundings, and you probably won't have any trouble on the Greyhound bus or at the Greyhound bus stations. Like I've said, I've done countless, I don't know how many cross-country 2-3 day trips on Greyhound. I've been through some of the worst stations that you can go to numerous times. There were a couple times I felt a little intimidated. I was a little nervous, but I made it through all of them without any bodily harm, and you can too. So don't be afraid of the Greyhound bus or the Greyhound bus stations. Just use common sense, be aware of your surroundings, and security is your best friend. So talk to them, stand next to them, do what you got to do with them to make sure they do their job, which is to keep you safe. Anyway, I'm Tim, Frugal Travel Guru. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the Greyhound bus, comment box below, you can leave them there. I will try to answer them. You can also get in touch with me on social medias. I got a new Greyhound bus Facebook page because I realized that that's kind of an avenue I can reach more people, answer more questions, share more things about Greyhound. You can also check out my blog. Look in the description box, all kind of cool stuff in there. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.